Strangers from distant lands, friends of old. You have been summoned here to watch our new video. In this video, we want to tell you more about Battlefield Middle-earth Reforged and answer your questions. We understand that while we are so consumed with the process of rebirthing our beloved game on the new engine, you are no less excited. So let's do this. First question. Will there be new and better models and animations of landscapes, objects, and characters? The Battlefield Middle-earth uses a very old engine, while Unreal Engine 4 possesses all the new technological advancements. More importantly, it is constantly being developed. It never gets old. It never stops improving, and that leads to a wide range of new possibilities. We are doing our best to use those new technologies in creating landscapes, animations, and when detailing objects, even though in most cases it means spending a great deal of time and effort on reworking things or even completely reconstructing something. And make no mistake, we are completely redoing huge parts. For example, we decided to make all models in textures, which is even more difficult with all the animation, but we are aiming to see a satisfying result in the end, so we do it anyway. Right. Next question. Are the maps as infinite as it seems in the images? If you've ever seen the campaign of Battlefield Middle-earth or Battlefield Middle-earth 2, you might remember the beautiful sequences with scenery, mountains, fields, and skies. That's what's needed for making spectacular screenshots and cutscenes. We are not entirely convinced that it is necessary in multiplayer maps, but please, let us know if you think otherwise. Will we see iconic places like Minas Tirith, Minas Morgul, or Erebor adapted to the new engine? That would be cool, and we wish to do that. However, we can't promise you doing such complex things right now. We are focused on creating the multiplayer after all. Alright, next question. Will there be a War of the Ring mode? And if so, will we see an improved and more detailed map of Middle-earth? We'd love to make a global and detailed map for an extended campaign like in Battlefield Middle-earth 1 and add new missions. But at the moment, we are working on the classic multiplayer mode, so we are not yet ready to speculate on such things. Moving on, are you going to continue with the same style as the previous games, or will you have new mechanics? The difference we are speaking about is going to be huge, far bigger than between Battlefield Middle-earth 1 and 2. Just think about it, the first and second parts of the game were made in the same engine, with the only differences being minor improvements. Battlefield Middle-earth Reforged is being developed on an engine which is the manifestation of technologies 13 years later. It will certainly have an effect on the mechanics, and we hope only positive ones. Like, for example, quicker unit reactions when giving orders, that kind of stuff. Will the game be based on Peter Jackson's films when introducing new elements, or will you be more faithful to the books, such as the Dane mod? We love the films and the books, but it's imperative to understand that the game is an adaptation just like the film. Neither can fully replace the books. We need to seek a middle ground, a compromise. You just can't add new units without thinking about the balance. All units have not just a visual difference, but a special role in the faction. They also need to stand in a line with all others, not giving off a feeling that they are out of place, and that's not an easy job to do. Truth be told, we are fascinated by the tremendous amount of work done by the team of the Dane mod. Such work done with love and passion throughout many years. Still, some aspects of the Dane mod are not very well adapted to the game. For example, all characters in the Dane mod got crude quotations from the film instead of clean ones. If we play Dane mod often, we keep hearing all these quotes hundreds of times, after which watching the film becomes unbearable. Just imagine that you hear all the quotes from the trilogy in that manner, like, "They're taking the hobbits to Isengard." This is a good example of a situation when a fan is blinded by the desire to take all what he sees into the game, but that won't necessarily make it good. The team of Battlefield Middle-earth Reforged have read the books many times, watched both movie trilogies, but still, we remember that the game is a game, an interactive Middle-earth, and this fact demands appropriate decisions during development. Right, next up. Are you only going to remake the maps, or are you also going to make new maps? Our level designer is reveling in his desire to recreate all of Middle-earth, but we are keeping him from that ambition because that would be work of gigantic magnitude, which would demand the work of an entire team, while all we need for the gameplay is a number of beautiful, well-optimized playable maps. It's only a matter of time before the classic 1v1 Fords of Eisen map is complete, and there will be maps for 2v2, 3v3 skirmishes. Sometimes later, there will be new maps, for sure. Right, next question is an important one. How easy or difficult will it be to run this game? What kind of PC specifications would you recommend to get a smooth, enjoyable experience? It's very difficult to tell you anything exact concerning this. But for the beginning, especially during the beta tests, the system requirements will be relatively high because the game optimization will take a great deal of time. But in the end, the optimization will let people play even using weaker computers, provided they use low or medium settings. Ooh, and is there going to be any content from The Hobbit? Certainly. There's no point in leaving old models when we've got new and fabulous images from the film. And, by the way, Thranduil's new model is almost done. Do you intend to have small armies like in Battle for Middle-earth 1 or big armies like in Battle for Middle-earth 2? The armies will be big, but we decided that the hordes should be like in Battle for Middle-earth 1, and there's a good reason for that. We want to make realistic unit collision, so that units don't phase through each other or all gather at the same one point. In order to make hordes move between buildings, to make units from a battalion surround a building when attacking, that kind of stuff, we must make the hordes smaller. Now, one of the elephants in the room. What are we going to do with licensing issues? We hope no problems will ever arise, because currently there are so many fan projects based on The Lord of the Rings. Playing Battle for Middle-earth Reforged will cost nothing, it will be 100% free. Besides, obviously EA aren't going to do anything with the Battle for Middle-earth series. They lost their license long ago and shut down the server. The game cannot be distributed anymore. Speaking of Warner Brothers, they've never been engaged in the strategy genre, and we're not interfering with their business in the slightest. We don't see a reason for them to shut us down. Of course, it's still worrying, but what choice do we have? The official Battle for Middle-earth 3 will never make it out. The RTS genre is not so popular these days, and there's an enormous copyright mess. EA own what they created while making Battle for Middle-earth. Warner Brothers own the film materials. Apart from that, there are rights on the materials from the books. Would these big companies that have their own agenda ever decide to cooperate for an RTS, while they're even less popular now? The fans have been sending letters, making petitions. We've been waiting for more than a decade. Time goes by, the ranks of Battle for Middle-earth players grows thinner, which is no wonder thanks to the old and annoying engine with all the network lag, desynchronization, and graphics that look as if from a century ago. Mods on the same engine won't do. The engine has a massive number of restrictions. It cannot use modern computers, new software. What also matters is that there is no automatic rating system, leaving the game without any hope for esport competition. We have but one choice. Face the darkness of obscurity forever, or unite all of the BfMe community and save it together. Alright, on to the next question. What about Skirmish Single-Player? We consider multiplayer the most important, then the campaign, and then, in the lowest of priorities, the single player. Surely we would be happy to make all of this, but let's face reality. Even creating the multiplayer is an overwhelmingly complex goal. That's why we can't yet talk seriously about the single player. Are you going to be introducing new units and heroes for each faction? If so, will you also be releasing updates with new units once the game is released? Maybe even new factions down the road? There will be new units, without any doubt. But we think that each unit must be distinctive from others and must, in the first place, have a function in the game. Adding any of the potential additional ones will be planned along with extreme care and precision, all gradually and tested by professional players. How many people are there in the team? Currently, there are more than 30 people in our team. Obviously, each member is engaged in the development to a various degree. Some work for many hours each day, some complete a task within a month, but we appreciate and value all our companions for finding the time to make the release of the new Battle for Middle-earth that bit closer. Another frequent question was how we were going to do armor and weapon upgrades. We plan to stick to the classical version. However, if anyone delivers us a good and realizable idea, we will try to implement it somehow eventually. It's important to keep in mind that the upgrade should not just be made logical, but also visually clear to all players. What version of the game will be the base for future balance? We are fond of the balance apparent in the 1.06 patch. The pro players then improved it in the 1.08 and 09 patch series called the balance patch. On to the next one. Will the game be released with the complete content, or will content be released in patches? We plan to release content in patches, which will then add factions and updates, etc. At the moment, we are working on Isengard, and when it will be ready, we want to start a closed beta test, because we expect a huge amount of bugs and uncertainties. We understand that it might not be so interesting to play as only one faction, and that's why we're already preparing content for the Elven faction. When the first two factions are ready, we will start an open beta test. Now, how difficult is it to make Battle for Middle-earth Reforged? If you compare making a mod on the old engine and Battle for Middle-earth Reforged, the latter will be like constructing a new house, starting with acquiring the materials and the building foundations, while making a mod is just repainting the roof. How much of the work is already done and how much is left to finish? Could you give us a percentage? That question obviously cannot be answered. We cannot hurry and push our team members. It's not their main job. It's a fan project which is built on enthusiasm. This is why we can't plan and precisely coordinate the working process. However, we are sure to say that much is already done. Some of us have been working on the project for months, and they contribute to the project with no less than 5 hours daily. We'd also like to openly appreciate the work of one guy from Germany who apparently spent all his summer vacation helping us. One of the driving forces that runs the project is our passion. We ourselves would like to feel and taste the new Battle for Middle-earth. One of the team even had a dream of playing a team game with spectacular graphics and no latency whatsoever. Now, one last thing. Seeing that the team is doing this in our free time, it is very difficult for us to join in on every conversation on the Discord, the Facebook page, and the forums. We try to keep you guys as up to date as we can, but cannot promise to respond to all the comments. All our time spent on the project is spent actually working on the game. Please keep your questions, suggestions, and comments coming. Help us make the game as awesome as it can be. If you have any skills and time to help us out, shoot us a message to BfmeReforged@gmail.com. And that's it from us for now. We will be releasing another video like this in the near future. Leave your questions in the comment section below or on our social media. We would also like to thank everyone who has left us a donation. You guys are amazing and make this project possible. Please like and share the video to help us reignite the BfMe spark with even more fans. Until next time.